Good morning. Happy Monday. Monday Mojo time again. How are you all? It's nice to see you. I'm sorry I missed you last week, but I had the most wonderful time at my son's graduation. Hopefully you've seen some of the photographs. It was a marvelous day. But I didn't get to see you. And I didn't go on Chalmers, so I'm back full force today. So Monday Mojo this morning. And then my Chalmers show this evening. And I've got some gorgeous stuff, so I'll show you. Once you're all in and ready and saying good morning, how is everybody? Good morning. I'm just going to share a link. There we go. And let's pin that one. See if I can pin it. Yeah. Wow. Who's in with me? Oh, Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Nice to see you this morning. We've had fun and games at the post office this morning. All the vintage parcels are playing up. So I was in the shop sort of doing other things while Chris was trying to sort that out. So yeah, I was a bit late getting started, but I made it. So that's good. Good morning, Diane. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Who else is with me? I think my mum is in Spain. So hello, mum, if you're watching. Hi, Mary. And it's been Yorkshire Day. So hi, Abby. I've been doing my Yorkshire lingo. So it was Yorkshire Day Friday. So Chris and I decorated the shop and made cupcakes, gave free Yorkshire tea and free cupcakes, flew a flag, and greeted everybody with "Hey up." Oh, lots of notifications. My computer's been off all week. Hi, Francis. Wet and windy Monday. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Yeah, it's pretty wet and windy here. It said we were due storms, so we made the most of the weekend and got to the coast. But yeah, I think we'll be holed up for a few days now. But I still have to walk the dog on these mornings. So I on a Monday, because Chris does the shop, I do all the duties in the morning, walking the dog and making the coffees, things like that. Yeah, but it wasn't windy wasn't too bad at the coast, even though it was definitely very windy here, because when I came to take my washing down yesterday, it had wrapped itself round the washing line. I had to unravel all the clothes. So, but surprisingly, it wasn't windy at the coast. Hi, Bogner. How are you? Yeah. So I went down to Robin Hood's Bay, and I can't believe I've never been. I thought I had, but then when I got there yesterday, I couldn't believe it. But very, very steep. Oh my goodness. It's very difficult to get down, and even worse to get back up. So my legs are absolutely aching like mad today. So I did a big walk down into Robin Hood's Bay, which is a lovely northeast coast. For those of you who don't know where I am, up in Yorkshire, on the northeast coast, not far from Whitby. And it's like, if anybody's been to Clovelly in Wales, it's a bit like that. You sort of go down into it. Doesn't seem to be any cars allowed down there, although I don't know how people get their stuff to and from. But unlike Clovelly, this is an actual real life place. People live there, and whereas Clovelly, you sort of pay to go in. It's almost like an attraction, the town. But this is just the town, but it's steep. It's so steep to go down. You're sort of walking backwards to try and stay upright, and it's not easy with the dog pulling you along. Luckily, I didn't have to manage that. So yeah, we went all the way down there, all across the beach, and walked to a place called Boggle Hole. What a great name. Boggle Hole, and there's a youth hostel there and a cafe. And we did some rock pooling and walked out onto the rocks, and Chris described all the erratic boulders to me. Very inspiring. The rock pools are like little miniature worlds, aren't they? Just amazing. I've got loads of photos. Don't know how they're going to translate yet into things, but I just found it so inspiring. But I thought, well, if I take the photos, I can refer to them. And then walked at the, and then when we got to Boggle Hole, we walked up very steep, lots of stairs. And I had to have 2 rest breaks. My legs were burning, my thighs were on fire. So it's like, oh God, how many more? And Chris was a few steps ahead, and he was like, not long, it's just one more, and then one more. So then walked across the top of the cliff, and then back into. And I stupidly thought, well, this is nice. The cliff top walk would take us straight to the car, and we won't have to do the walk back up Clovelly. No, went down the cliff into the bottom of not Clovelly, of Robin Hood's Bay, and then all the way back up again to a place called Filenthorpe, where the car was. So yeah, quite a walk yesterday. It wasn't actually that many miles. It was just a lot of up and a lot of down. So yeah, achy today. You never used to pay to get into Clovelly, and people did live in all the houses. They sort of do, but it feels now, Tony, like when you go, you pay an entrance fee to enter the village, and yeah, it feels very almost like a theme park. You know, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous it was, but and I'm sure people do live there and not work there, but it seems very much geared around just, you know, you pay to go to this site, and the gardens are wonderful there as well. That's the other nice thing. But yeah, this is sort of very organic. Like, people live, work there. The little alleyways are gorgeous. It's so intertwined. Loads still to explore. We didn't have a great deal of time, but it was an accident actually. We didn't actually we didn't plan to go there. We planned to go on a walk in a place called Clyton, where we've seen it in the Yorkshire Life magazine, because we get those into the shop, and you walk through woods, and then there's a waterfall, and then you follow that and you're on a little beach, and so that was what we'd planned to do, and then anyway, we had forgotten to pack Willow's water bottle, so we thought we'd just drive and get some water, go a bit further, and then we go in a bit further, and then a bit further, and they're like, well, should we just go Robin Hood's Bay? I've never been, so let's go there. And we did, and ended up staying there, and then fish and chips and Scarborough Beach on the way home. It was amazing, lovely day. Didn't get home till 10 o'clock. And then when we got to Scarborough, it was down and then back up again. Oh, my legs. It was, honestly, I earned my fish and chips. Good morning, Nevis Pay. No, good morning, Jane. You do now, they have made it very commercialized now, but you didn't used to, like 10 years ago. It was just a little village. Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, to be honest, I'm sure the entrance fee sort of allows that lifestyle to continue, because it must be quite difficult to maintain, you know, having people live there and work there, being so isolated. So if it wasn't an attraction, I can imagine it would sort of lose its appeal then for people to actually live and make a living there. So it's good, and it also protects it because it gets a lot of visitors. So it's sort of the fees sort of protect the site, don't they? So I understand it, but it has changed it somewhat. Morning, Linda. There are a TV program called Village by the Sea, which has covered both villages, does the history of each. Oh, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that. You love Scarborough, many happy memories there. Yeah, Scarborough's lovely. It's a lovely place. It's mixed. We sat down. We decided we'd have a beer. We got to Scarborough seafront, found a cafe where we could take Willow and have a beer, and we sat there watching the world go by. And it was all nice and quiet. Willow was pooped because she'd been walking so long, so she was laid down. Just got our pints delivered to the table, pint of lager each, and a seagull landed. Willow jumped up, knocked the table flying, glass, beers everywhere. It just literally went everywhere. Oh God, 12 quid for 2 pints. It was just gone. But the lovely cafe owners didn't charge us for the next next to this. Don't worry, don't worry. They're really nice, and yeah, so that was really kind. So we left them a nice tip. But yeah, a lovely, lovely place. And then watching the sunset up at the top, you know, on the way home, the sunset over the moors. It's beautiful. Really lovely day. So, and I think we're good, did well to squeeze it in before this weather hits, because it's not very nice now. So, what have you all been up to? Where is... Hi, Sue. I've been wondering if you were up here yet. Yes, I am. My daughter lives in Bridlington. Hope you're loving life in Yorkshire. We are. We are loving life in Yorkshire. Really, yeah, really settled in now, and feels like home. So yeah, and it's just so beautiful around here. Like, everywhere you know, you drive, you think, oh, it's an hour drive up to the coast, but well, that side of the coast anyway. It's not so far if we go closer, but it's just not an issue because it's so gorgeous. You know, it's part of the outing is the drive. It's just lovely. The roads are quiet and big and well maintained, and people are lovely. And yeah, it's smashing up here. It's such a big county, though, isn't it? You know, so yeah. But we are that sort of coastal side, so we're only about 35, 40 minutes from Brid. So yeah, see, oh yeah, there's so much to see, isn't there, Abby? There's, you know, so many lovely things. It's finally arrived. It's the Fairy Festival this week. Eek. Oh, Jane, that's where I was looking for your name. It's like, where's Jane? Has she done her festival? No, it's this week. Oh, I hope the weather turns round, has its little burst of dullness, and then turns round again for your festival. Oh, I'm so excited for you. I honestly can't wait to see it all come together. Seeing bits and pieces being made for your stall all along, um, for months now, isn't it? Absolutely, well, since before I moved. So I really can't wait to see it all together. I need lots of photos, Jane. It's looking good this weekend. Yay! Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Ah, well, what else have I been up to? My son graduated. Tom graduated. It's one of the proudest days of my life. It was amazing. He was just, he looked great in his gown. And of course, I instantly cried as soon as I saw him. So he came to meet my mum and I from the car park because I couldn't get mum's, mum needed a chair. And he said, I'll help you get out of the car and get to the venue. And so I pulled in, and he was coming across the car park, and I just saw him in his gown and his hat, and that was it. I just went, whoa, big tears, proper bumpy crying, we call it. So I put my arms around him, and then, you know, that crying where you just like shit, your shoulders are going. Silly, really, isn't it? But yeah, that set my mum off. So then we were all crying. Yeah, it was wonderful. It's quite a, I mean, you guys, I know a lot of you guys have been and seen a graduation before, been part of one. I haven't. So it was a new experience for me. And it was so grand, you know. It's a beautiful hall, Colston Hall. It's not Colston Hall anymore. It's called the Beacon. Is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous venue, and the music came on, booming music. It's like something from Star Wars, booming, very powerful music. Doom, 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 doom. It wasn't that, but that's what it reminded me of. And all the scholars and the tutors and professors all came in, and of course their different color robes represent their different rank, academic achievement, or status within this organization, and they came in like in a parade through the hall, down the stairs up to the stage, and they, you know, there's big staffs, and yeah, it was quite awesome, really. And they all stood on stage, and then there was lovely speeches, and there was some honorary degrees. There was a doctorate awarded to Tom's dissertation tutor, which was nice. So I got to hear a little about her and her journey, and he's, you know, says that she was a wonderful mentor for his dissertation. So it was lovely. And I was saying my favourite part of the day was was watching Tom cheer his friends, and you know, they're congratulating each other. That watching that dynamic and that lovely camaraderie, it was so nice. It was such a nice experience. It was lovely, lovely for me, lovely for my mum, and for Tom's grandma and Tom's dad. Yeah, it was really nice. Months and months, says Jane. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Abby. That's how last Monday was. Well done, Tom, says Sue. I don't know if many of you do craft fairs, but if so, have noticed it's not so busy as past years for us, of just where I am. Oh, so Linda's saying, has anybody else noticed that craft fairs aren't as busy these days, or is it just where she is? Do you think people are perhaps just pinching the pennies a bit? And I'm not sure. Yes, Abby, thank you very much. I did. I didn't actually get it in time to give it him. So when he comes, I'll give it him then. And Jane says, Linda, I've noticed a difference, and a friend of mine has said he's £2,000 down on last year. That's a shame. I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's because more people are crafting now. There's that possibility. More people are, you know, since lockdown, they've upskilled and found creative sides themselves. I wonder if it's because we're competing with, you know, more mass-produced, cheaply made items like Temu and things like that. There's that, isn't there? Yeah, I wonder. There are probably lots of factors involved. I think it's about picking and choosing your craft fairs, isn't it? Like being really choosy where you go. And it's just lots of, yeah. I mean, I went to the Bishop Wilton one that I was telling you about, the big country fair, and I had considered having a stand, but I did notice when I was there was 2 or 3 jewelry sellers already, you know, and you kind of think, wow, I was totally different to theirs, so that might play a part. But yeah, there is, I don't know, some people are doing really well, but maybe also there's just more outlets to buy handcrafted items as well, like, you know, Etsy, there's a To Do, there's Marketplace, eBay, so many online platforms to sell now. Perhaps people are thinking, actually, is it worth my time going to do a craft fair? And so people are starting to think, well, there's less there now, I can get those products online. I don't know. Shopping has changed, hasn't it? Have I started offering workshops? Not in person yet, Sue. However, I do have my first in-person sort of taster workshop group meeting for Driffield crafters, what they call the arty crafters. I've got my first sort of taster to sort of give people a taste of what they might want to do if these aren't jewelry makers, these are crafters. So I'm going there. That's my first in-person one, and I was thinking, actually, I'm a little bit nervous because I've got to do a talk and then and a bit of a show and tell, you know, and then a taster session, and with the aim of booking a, you know, workshop with the ladies there. It's all ladies, no gents. So yeah, so that's the 21st of this month. So that's exciting. That's like 3 weeks away, isn't it? So oh, that's actually, is it 2 weeks on 2 weeks Thursday? So yeah, so I got to get organized, find all my kits out, because I, you know, I haven't had my jewelry making kits out for so long. So I've got to get everything sorted and organized, and then yeah, get cracking with that. So that's exciting. Yeah, lots of things on the go. Another one similar to that, but not until October. But yeah, I'm hoping to get some in-person workshops booked in. It's just, again, it's that risk, isn't it? You know, booking a hall, advertising locally. I don't know. I'm not well known enough locally yet to sort of fill a workshop with locals. So it's, you know, relying on all you guys that trudge around the country to come and see me now and again to sort of come back and do it with me. But, you know, I think the interest is there, so it won't be long. Yeah, thanks, Sue. Getting to a themed craft fair is sometimes better. Yeah, because people go with that interest, don't they? And so if your work is within that remit, it's, you know, something that they buy as a token that they've been. So yeah. A lady selling jewellery, vintage earrings and necklaces, £2 plus £3 to make your own. Join this week. Can't compete with that, but there you go, all fair. Yeah, no, you can't compete with that, but you don't want to, do you, really? It's not what you're offering. You're offering a completely different, bespoke, completely handcrafted item. Yeah, and people are going to want the £2 and £3 things. And you know, it does engage people when you offer like a pick your own charms. I remember going to a fair and seeing somebody with, like, it was years ago now, but it was a bit like a Pandora, you know, take on Pandora, that style of thing. You bought the bracelet and then you picked your charms, and people love that, you know, picking their things and choosing, and actually, you know, and the fact that it's only £5 means that, you know, everybody can have a go, and it doesn't, you know. But do you want to be producing that? No, not really, dear. I mean, the money's nice, isn't it? But it's not what you stand for, is it? It's not what you do. You know. I have van, can travel, yay. All right, Jane. Well, there you go. Well, there's one, Jane and Sue, right. When's the Milliput course? Abby, I haven't rescheduled it yet. I do need, on Thursday, I probably will have a rescheduled date, and I will let you know when that's happening. Okay, right. So what else? Last weekend's walk was a different one. That was through the sort of valleys that have been created by glaciers. It was amazing. It was a long walk. You fancy a 7 this week? Well done, Mary. She started the voting. So 7 for Mary. Where's my sketch pad? Oh, I've lost it. Right. I don't seem to have anything to hand. There's a pencil at least. Where's my sketchbook gone? Oh, there it is. I see it. Let me get my sketchbook and I'll start recording your votes. I love how you just moved me on there, Mary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So Mary for a 7. Anybody else for anybody? Any other votes? Oh, Steve would come too. Yeah. Okay, great. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, Abby. Yeah, I'll try and avoid those. The date says September now. Hopefully, I do it before then. Mind you, it's already August. Can you believe it? 8 for Jane, 5 for Abby. Can you believe it's already August? The 4th of August. And 8 for Tony, a 5, Sue, a 2. And yeah, just get your votes in. I'll try and keep up. So yeah, I went on this walk where there would have been glaciers. 7 for Francis, Barbara 3. And I found it was really cute, actually. We found all these little notes on pieces of wood from a fella called Elric. I'm assuming it's a man. It feels like a fella's name. So, and he'd wrote all these little notes, and he had lovely little sayings, you know, quite cliche, but just cute sayings like all who wander aren't lost, and look within for this. And, you know, it's really sweet, but they were just lovely. Nice little notes from Elric. And so, and then we found one that said, little tag, and it said, I mean, they're not just, they're nailed into place, these things, you know, nailed or screwed in to the gates and the fences and things like that. And then we found one that said, whoever is stealing Elric's notes, please do not steal Elric's notes from Elric. It's made me laugh ever since. But on this walk, I found a fossil. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to clean it up. I mean, it's still a bit, I haven't cleaned it up. I just thought I forgot to get it out of the bag. And then yesterday when we were walking, I thought, oh yeah, there's the fossil there. So I'm trying to see if I can get it to focus properly. But it's a really good impression. Come on, camera. There you go. Look at that. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's a great fossil. So I was really chuffed with that find. I want to clean it up and have a proper, see if I can expose any more of it from this side. I'm not quite sure how to go about it, so carefully, I should imagine. But I was so chuffed that I'd found it. That's great. It's just there on the ground. So now we've said we'll take the kids with a little hammer and we'll go and see if we can find any more. But I was really chuffed. So yeah, you're walking through this awesome, at the bottom of what would have been the bed of a river, glacier, and you can see how it's just carved out the landscape, and it almost looks made up, like unreal, because they cross over, you know, the hills cross over where you can see that there's been this action going through. Just so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And that's 5 minutes away in the car. And yeah, we walked a few miles. We went the wrong way. We were trying to walk to somewhere called Fridythorpe, but we ended up going a different way. We planned to end up there, have a snack, and then walk back. And then we went the wrong way. So we then walked all the way back through this valley, 3.5 miles all the way back. Got in the car and drove to Fridythorpe. And when we got there, we saw a couple that had gone off on a different path, and they'd obviously gone on the right path. So now we know which path to go on. Brunswick Beach is really good for fossils. Oh, okay. I'm going to write that down too. Brunswick Beach. Everybody keeps suggesting beaches to us. And we're slowly trying them all out. We've been to Fraysthorpe, we've been to Filey, we've been to Scarborough, we've been to Whitby, we've been to Hummonby. We've been just on a little beach hunt for the last 8-10 weeks. I don't know how long we've been here. Ages now, isn't it? Yeah, so very, very excited to find that. It's got me thinking creatively. And then yesterday we went, when we were going down, there's this amazing shop in Robin Hood Bay, and you go in and it's all fossils, but you look up and they've actually got, like, they're replicas obviously, but they look so realistic, whole skeletons, dinosaur skeletons and skulls, and so cool. Cannot wait to go back. Brunswick Beach. Okay. Hello. That's all right, Leslie. We'll let you off. We'll let you off for being late. Does anybody have any votes for me with the box numbers? So pick a box 1 to 10. I'm really hoping you pick the 1, because that one's actually got something that's sort of related to the fossils in it. So I'm hoping that one gets picked. The 4 for Leslie. Okay. I can't actually remember what box it is, so I can't even give you a subliminal hint. So what else? So I'm back on Charmers this evening. I've got some beautiful cabochons. So if you're in the market for some cabochons, then you're in luck, because these are amazing. Bognor, you would like a number 2? And I've been, so tonight's demos on Instagram will be around loops, creating even loops and using those in various ways. So here's one cab setting. Camera to focus. There you go. Here's one cab setting. So I've got these amazing cabochons and then did some lovely micro-faceted gemstones. This is a gorgeous labradorite. You're not catching the labrador essence in it, but it's absolutely beautiful, and it's a great big like ellipse shape, which I love. And there's the back. So there's one setting, and then this one, which I'm really pleased with in the end, because I always, you know, when you've got a clear gemstone and you kind of think, well, I want to set it and I want it to be secure, but I obviously don't want anything to be showing through. Well, this time I embrace the fact that you can see through it, and I put the decorative backing on it like that. So when you look through it in the light, you can see it. You see that? I get out of the way. So you can just see it. It's very subtle, but I think rather than trying to hide it, I thought, well, I'm just going to embrace it and see what effects I can get being able to see through it. It looks hard to do. Well, you have to watch tonight. It's not actually that hard to do, Tony. So this is they're nice projects. Now, this one's got a bit more going on because I've used a Viking knit bezel too. So there's a few techniques in here, but the technique for making the loops and the backing is actually really quite simple. But tonight I'll be focusing on creating loops, and then this is this is one that I will demonstrate. So this bangle, using these are little little flat faceted. These are called terahertz, terahertz, or hertz, something hurts. My whole body hurts from all the climbing yesterday, but something hurts. They look like hematite. They're incredibly sparkly, very lightweight, so they're great if you need to use a lot of something in one place. But it makes a really pretty bangle. So I'm going to be demonstrating how to do that this evening. So that's 6 o'clock on Instagram. So yeah, join me then. So if it's stormy outside, just curl up and have me on Instagram tonight and do the tutorial with me. So yeah, this is that. So I've got these lovely little, got this gorgeous, see if I can do it without, can you see these lovely fluorites? They're so twinkly, little coins, faceted coins. I got those. I got the terahertz faceted coins. I've got phantom quartz, faceted, micro faceted gems, clear quartz, and white agate, which is really unusual because it's hard to get a white gemstone. So that's really nice. So there's the things I've got for you this evening. I'll be showing you the bracelet and then using the hoops for various different ways of setting things. I've got some stunning cabochons, including this beauty, which I'm going to work on in a minute. So lovely, isn't it? I have to go for my work appointment soon, so I'll finish watching later. Have fun, everyone. Oh, have fun yourself, Bogner. I hope your work appointment isn't too much. Leslie says, awaiting the storm, Abby. Been out moving all the garden furniture to make sure it doesn't get blown away. Due to hit around 12. Oh, good luck, Leslie. I hope it's okay. I hope you stay safe. Yeah, I think we're just going to get the tail end of it here, but it looked as if it was going to hit us, but I think it's just going to be the tail end. But I think it's not looking so good up your way, Leslie. Fingers crossed everything stays safe and everybody gets holed up and not in too much trouble. Okay, so that's this evening. And then, if you can see the necklace I'm wearing today. Have I got it on the right way? Yes, I have. So this is the workshop that I'll be doing Thursday. So I'll be doing a workshop where you're making tiny little connectors that look like daisies, and involves setting a just a cut gemstone or a rivoli. You can go from around a 5mm up to about a 10. So it's really quite a versatile technique. And we do that one, and I will be showing you how to, you know, use them in different ways, including a ring, earrings, bracelet, necklace. I'll be doing ones with set gems and ones with creating a different decorative center. You don't have to have a cut gemstone or cabochon. You can have a bead if you want to. The technique will be very similar. This just it just helps you if you've got cut gems that you don't know what to do with. This is a really nice technique for doing it and setting them really securely. So that's that. I don't know which way to pull it. That's that necklace. I could do it being a bit shorter, couldn't it? But, you know, Daisy it's called. So it's £25. It's on Thursday morning between 9:30 and 12:30. It should be a nice morning. And then there are more, but I put a link in the comments to the next few workshops. There's this one the following Saturday. I have a bigger flower style connector piece, a layered flower. So this is a good start point for building up to that one as well. And then I have one that's a bit more chunky and funky, and that's the donuts, setting donuts in and using the negative space really nicely for some designs, and that's the following Thursday. So 3 workshops set up for August, and then what I didn't tell you was it's just started raining here. It's windy and the rain has just started. Ooh, everybody be battening down the hatches. And then do you remember the last time I spoke to you, not last Monday before, I said I challenged you to design something to go with an outfit. Now, I know Mary Morris, I know you did. You did an absolutely amazing job, as always. Looked gorgeous. You're looking fantastic as well, by the way. At number 2 for Linda. So I had to make something to go with my dress for the graduation. And I don't know if you saw it. It was like it's a shirt style top like this. So you haven't got much space here. And it was white and orange. So I just went with something very simple. The patterns are almost like that Hawaiian shirt pattern, you know, that flower on a Hawaiian shirt, which these sort of were reminiscent of. So these are gold-plated stone and silver connectors. So I just did simple pearls with gold spaces and a 3 graduated drop, and then the same on the earrings. It worked really well. Very simple. Thanks, Leslie. Very simple, but did the trick. So that was good. The only thing I found is this isn't very heavy. It's very light. So actually, what I found was it didn't stay central. It wanted to creep around a bit, so it wouldn't stay put. So if anybody else has that problem, the way to fix that is to put something, just a little extender with a weight on. So that weight can be another gemstone, something like pyrite. So you can get coated pyrite. If you get, like, if the metals in this are gold plated on stone and silver. So what I'm going to do to this one to make sure that doesn't happen next time I wear it is pop an extender. Now I want it to be probably about 2 inches, which sounds a lot, but you need the longer it is, the better it will be at staying at the back with a weight on, because it sort of drags it down further. So a 2-inch extender, and then I'll put a gold plated pyrite onto it, because the pyrite's really heavy, and that should it won't have to be massive, then it can still be quite discreet, but it's heavy, and that should weight it to stay put. So that's how I'm going to adjust it. So if you've had the same problem, that might be something you want to consider. Just because this is so lightweight, it doesn't necessarily keep it pulled centrally. So yeah, so there you go. That's what I did. I did actually complete one of the challenges I set you. That's it. Nice and simple, but effective. I was pleased with it. It looks really nice. Nice pearls. Yeah, pretty. Okay, right then. Shall we look at what demo you've asked for? What time are we at? Yeah, we should. We've been on here for 40 minutes. Yeah, love my outfit. Oh, thanks, Linda. Yeah, it's a nice dress, that. Really simple, isn't it? So comfortable. And because it's got this tie at the front, so it doesn't have a belt. It's like a shirt, but then it's got these extra pieces that come round and tie at the front. So you don't have to breathe in. And because it's got a pattern, you know, it hides a lots of sins, and so lightweight because it's silk, so it's lovely. Thank you very much. And Linda, that's lovely. Sorry, didn't have an outfit to inspire me, and then got busy making for my store. Well, you've got enough to do, Linda, haven't you? Classy with a subtle edge. Thank you. Morning, Claire. And box number 5 for Claire. Okay. Right then. I need some more votes because I have some level peggers. So we need more votes. There's 16 people in, and I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 votes. There's 5 votes to come in. Come on, give me your votes. Your hair looked shorter at the graduation ceremony, did it? I think maybe just because I had it like that and not on my shoulders. And I had earrings in, so I kept pulling it. So I was going to put my hair up, but then I like it down, really, if it can stay down. So because when it goes up, it's a bit, it looks like I've got thick hair, but I haven't. And so as soon as it's warm or been moving around a lot, it just goes very floppy. So if I put it up and it flops, it looks terrible. So at least if it stays down and it flops, it's not so bad. Oh yeah, that'll be it, will it? It's gotten long again, hasn't it? It's really gotten long. I keep wondering whether to have it chopped off to about this length again. It might be a bit easier. Yeah, I had a haircut when I first got here, and the layers weren't great, to be fair. So they didn't do it very well. So basically I have a layer here and then the layer there, and it's not graduated. So it's not great, but I can live with it. I put some curls in, you can't notice. Any more votes? I got a tie, so I need a vote. Hopefully you vote for the right number, otherwise I could end up with 2 to 3 ties. I'm feeling pretty inspired by the fossil-y thing. Just in case you didn't see it, Claire, I found a fossil. You can't vote again, Abby. Found a fossil. So I've been quite inspired by it. And then I've said this to you before, when you see something, you notice something, and then everything sort of gives you little nods to it. So I've been thinking about fossils, and then Chris had put a t-shirt on yesterday and it had a fossil on it. I bought him a dinosaur t-shirt years ago because he loves dinosaurs. It's got dinosaur socks and t-shirts. And Point Blank Cornwall. Are you shouting Point Blank Cornwall? You want a 5? Okay, right. Well, that tips it into the lead. Claire had a 9, but the 5. Oh, I thought I could every minute, lol. No, you can't vote every minute. So, and Claire, you can't have another vote. You can't vote for 5 and 9. So, yeah. So then Chris had this t-shirt on, and then when we went to Robin Hood Bay by accident yesterday, we ended up in that fossil shop. So I'm thinking there's some calling to do something fossil-y. So I did try and find some ammonite, pendant slices, but they didn't have anything like that. Nothing polished, nothing really jewelry-ish. So I'm sure I've got something somewhere. So I'm going to have a look. But I'm thinking about creating some sort of spiral with wire. So I'll let you know how that goes. You'll stick with 5 then. Good, Claire. You stick with 5. That puts 5 in the lead. So you'll be happy, Abby. All your and Marjorie went for number 5 as well. You're welcome, Marjorie. It doesn't matter. You're here now, and that's what matters. And you helped us with our deciding vote, so that's good. Right. I'll just sort that bit out. There you go. Right. So box number 5. Let's have a look what's in there. Here's the box. Araya found a little shark tooth fossil on the beach last week. Oh, nice. I thought I'd found. Oh, wow. Here we go. Number 5. This is bonkers. So number 5 is this one. And this is the one I was thinking, this is the sort of line I'm going to go on for creating the fossil. So, can you see this? Thanks everyone for doing 5. Do a course on it and you'd milliput. You would milliput everything, Abby, wouldn't you? So yeah, there it is. This is the thing I put in number 5, and it's a little, I don't know, it's something I was playing with at some point. So, and this is something I thought maybe I could evolve to make more fossil-y. So this is a 1 piece of wire with a layered spiral motif. So it's great for earrings. Really simple technique. We've got this double coiling going on. So I'm going to have to dig out a few bits and bobs. So I've got the wire. What else do I need? I need a tiny spiral. Let me see if I got my little. There it is on the floor, of course. I got this and this. Let's go down. So yeah, the technique here shows you how to create 2 spirals that sit and stagger over the top of each other. Now, you could sort of keep going with it to create more layers, but we'll talk about that. Spiral ammonite, yeah, exactly, Claire. This was the one I thought, oh, it would be nice if that one's picked because that's all in line. So again, there you go. Universe speaks, doesn't it? There's some funny tricks sometimes, universe. Right, okay, let's get the camera up and put you here. Right, mind your eyes. I'll tell you what, I'll cover it like that so I don't make you dizzy. I never remember which way up it goes. Wrong way. That way. I'm just play with it while it adjusts to the light, and let me wind this up. Here we go. Okay then. I just have a swig of my coffee. Right. So here we go. Here's the piece. There's 2 spirals, and one sort of just sits and overlaps the other, but it's 1 piece, so it's, you know, solid. So these make great earrings, or you know, the bottoms of pendants or something like that. And of course, you could leave the center of this one a bit more open so that you could hang something from it, or use a jump ring to connect them together. And then I've done a contrast coil just around the outside. You see if I roll that in. So it's actually quite good for fidgeting as well, isn't it? Because you can, you know, you could just roll this one in different ways. So it's quite a good fidget pendant. Okay, let's go for it. So first off, let's make a coil that will sit around our around to give us that contrast. So shall I use a different color? Have I got a different color? No, I haven't got a different color handy, so I'm gonna just create one in my copper because it's here on my desk. So I'm going to use 0.4 wire to make this little spiral. You could go with a 0.6. Oh, look, I do have contrast. Let's go with silver. So I've got 0.4 silver here. So I'm going to make a coil, and I'm going to use my gizmo maker to do that, gizmo coiler. So if you've never used one before, I've got the smallest one in my set. You can get smaller ones. And this one's about a 1.5 millimeter diameter, so it will be a bit bigger, so it gives us a bit of scale on our piece, but it's also small enough not to, you know, splay our spiral out too much. So first off, we've got this little handle part here, and the rod goes through this vise, and then you just take the tail of your wire and wrap it around. The rest of the wire leave on the coil, on the reel. Okay, and then I pop my my finger on the wire running down this bracket then, so that keeps the tension, so it just offers a little bit of pull. I'm not holding it too tight, but it offers a little bit of pull, and as I turn, the wire binds itself around the mandrel. Okay, so with it being a 0.4 wire, it's really easy and happens really quickly. So we'll just go around, and I'm not even holding the handle, I'm just using my finger to push it round. It's quicker. Okay, oh right, so now I've come off track a bit, so if I pull that out, straighten my wire up. It's the only thing working from the reel. With these light bigger reels are fine because they're heavy, they sort of weigh down and keep the wire coming out straight, but with this one, it's a springy wire, so you have to make sure that your wire's not kinking and coiling, you know, on the desk when you're doing this. The best thing is to have it hanging down or just on the floor, so that it pulls it nice and evenly. Gravity helps. Okay, so we're just going to create a length of wire, a length of coil that will go around the outside of our spiral. So I'll go for a bit more than I think I need, so I can trim it down. Or maybe I'll go for twice as much so that I can make two and have earrings. In fact, let's do that. You can always use quills. So if you, it's a nice thing to do just while you're, you know, whilst you're trying to think of ideas as well. Sometimes you might as well just be making something that will work into a project at a later date. Gizmo coils are one of those things that are good to do. The other thing is like jump rings, making jump rings, clasps, ear wires, just making those components that you can then have to hand when you're, you know, when you're in the flow and you're making something. You don't want to stop to do one of these, you know, menial tasks like making ear wires or jump rings. I like, you know, they can really ruin the flow sometimes, can't they? Or, you know, you finished your piece and then you think, oh God, now I've got to make a clasp. And then it ends up waiting for a clasp in the waiting forever box. Have you got one of those? Ooh, spiral hamlet. Looks lovely, says Leslie. Okay. So I've got a nice long length now to work with. Right, that'll do. So then I'm going to detach it from the mandrel. You notice I haven't cut the wire just yet. It's because I want a bit of spring. So sometimes when you're making these small coils, they can be difficult to slide off. And if you do get the difficulties, my wire is wrapped around that way. So if I push the two wires in the opposite direction the other way, it loosens the whole thing and you can slide it off really easily. It just takes the tension off of the rod, you know, off the wire, off the rod. So I'm going to trim those down. So I've got a nice long length. I'll leave that there to work with in a minute. And now we're going to make these spirals. So spirals are one of those things that you need to have practice at because they're not perfect straight away. And so, you know, getting some practice in before you know, fully go into making your spiral jewelry or spirals for pendants, you know, where they're sort of center of attention. Just have a play with making them, but I'll try and go through it and make it break it down so it's nice and simple. So we're going to start by making the biggest spiral. So we're going to start by making that bit, and then we're going to come on to making the next bit. Okay, so I'm not going to cut my wire from the reel, but you'll notice I've been pulling it through my hands to soften it and also sort of release it from any kinks that it might have had, because any kinks that it's had, it will remember, and that's where it will want to bend. So that's where you heard the saying, the path of least resistance. Well, when you're moving wire, the path of least resistance for the wire is where it remembers it's bent before. So we're trying to undo that, erase that memory from the wire by running it through our hands and smoothing it out, getting some warmth in there and getting the structure within the wire to be nice and even and lined up like this again. So rather than where it's bent before, it'll be a bit like that. We want the sort of crystal structure within the wire to be like this. So having done that, I will then take my pliers and start creating a spiral. Okay, so I'm going to use round nose pliers for this, but first I'm just going to cut the end. So this is if you're really going in on making very tight. Can you see that the center of this one is a very, very tiny center, and of course my pliers are much thicker than that, so I'm going to do a bit of work to start off with. So first off, I'm going to cut my wire at a sort of 45-degree angle, so I've got a bit of a point on it. And then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to go put the wire into the jaws of the pliers, right down into the bottom there, and give it a good squeeze. Okay, so what we're doing essentially is just flattening that first bit of wire out a little bit. Okay, so giving it a good flatten out that center at the tip. Okay, it's very subtle, the difference, but it does help. And then I'm going to go in with the tip of my pliers onto the tip of the wire and squeeze nice and tightly and start turning that loop in. Now, don't worry if you can't quite get to the end, because what we can do is get it started and then we can trim a tiny bit off. And because we flattened it, it's going to be easy to do that. Okay, so we trimmed a tiny bit off. See if I can get that. See, so we've not quite got it closed, and then we can come back in and finish closing it up. Okay, so that's nice and tiny at the middle. Then to close it off even more, we can come in with our chain nose pliers and just give it a squeeze. Remember to squeeze it evenly from all angles so that it closes and makes it nice and tiny at the middle. Come on, camera, focus. Tell you what, let me do these camera settings. Where is it? See if I can get it to stay in one area. There it is, webcam. Focus. And if I go around, how's that? There we go. Let's apply it there. Okay. Right then, that's a bit better, isn't it? So you can see I've really closed that circle up as much as I can. And now it should be so small that I actually can't get the tip of my pliers in there. Now you may have some really fine nose pliers, which would be great. However, with a 1mm wire, which is what I'm using, yeah, sorry, Mary, hopefully that answered. So with a 1mm wire, your fine pliers might not be strong enough to actually make this bend. So this technique, how I'm showing you now, is probably the way to go for a 1mm wire if you want a tiny center. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold across the spiral, so across the edge of the spiral, and then going to hold really firmly, and I'm going to pull the wire into the jaws of the pliers. Now, because the jaws of the pliers are angled, obviously they're closed more here than they are up there, because that's the trajectory of them. It allows the wire to go in the gap that's created. So you can bring the wire into that gap, which does two things. One, it just helps it sit really flat, helps the spiral stay really flat, and helps you get a really nice tight finish. So pulling the wire around, hold across the spiral, and holding it firmly will stop it marking as much, because it marks because it slips in the wire. Okay, so hold it firmly and keep pulling it around. Okay, you don't have to do loads at once, you can just do a bit at a time. That will help everything stay nice and flat. Okay. Now, when I'm doing normal spirals where I'm just finishing wire, I don't take this much care and attention, because it doesn't matter if the center isn't tiny and tight like that. But when you're making a feature of the spiral and it's actually part of the design rather than part of the finish, then you do want to take that extra time to get that nice and tiny and tight and very, if you get that first loop right, the rest of it follows. But if that first loop is slightly oval or teardrop shaped, then you can get sort of untidy spirals. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm going to go a bit further. Now I don't really need my pliers. I can just use my thumb and finger, hold really firmly and pull the wire around. So you can see I'm just pulling and turning my hand. Okay, right then. So there is our first spiral. Let's just check it's about the right size. Maybe we can go a bit bigger. So just keep going. Okay, now if you are going to do a pair like this, I suggest that at this point you just cut the wire now. So let's cut it. I'm going to leave myself a good 10 centimeters to make this top spiral, probably a bit less actually. What's that? Where's my so from where the spiral leaves its spiral to there, yeah, 10 centimeters. So from where the spiral sort of stops being attached to the wire stops being attached to the spiral, about there, about 10 centimeters. So if I were you, if you're making a pair, I would stop and I would cut the wire there, and then make the next one and then cut it there, and then at least you know that these two are going to be the same. Okay, so they will then be the same when you come to make the next one. Okay, so next job, we need to get that spiral in place before we do the one that sits on top. We get the coil in place before we do the one that sits on top. So we're going to get that spiral that I made. Where is it? The coil that I made. And just going to trim the ends. And I'm going to slide that into place. So just slide that into place and take it all the way around. Lost the end. What's happening here? There we go. Okay, so slide that round. You can see now that's sitting around the edge, and we want a little bit of an overlap. So that's about where we want to cut the coil. So we've got about, I don't know, about 3 mil overlap for the coil, and just part it there, and then you can either take it off and cut it, or you can just nip off the excess wire, and anything that's sticking out you can put back. Okay, so there you go. You've now got that lovely coil sitting around the outside of your spiral. Good morning, Vintage Halloween Crafts. That is pretty, isn't it, Abby? Looks nice, doesn't it? It's just a nice effect. I mean, there's nothing to stop you now just putting a loop on the top of here and having that as a you know, bit as an earring or some sort of element for your jewelry. Okay, so now if we look at this one, you can see we then start doing the spiral with the rest of the wire, but instead of working from the end down, we work from here out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers and I'm going to pop it onto the wire. This is where I want the start of my spiral to be, the inside. Okay, so I'm holding on with my pliers and I'm going to bring the wire all the way around the pliers like that. Okay, so it's gone all the way around. We look at it from this side, which will be the front. And then now, rather than pulling the wire around the pliers, we're just going to allow that wire to sort of sit on the outside of that first loop we made. Okay, so I've got to this point and now my pliers will be in the way. So if I'm holding in the middle. Now, if I was to carry on pulling that wire around, it's going to hit the pliers. I won't be able to go any further. So what we need to do now is get our chain nose pliers. So before I do that, it's a little bit open on that side. So I'm just going to use my pliers to pinch that closed, to close that gap. And now I'm going to hold across the spiral that I've started. And then basically do exactly the same as I did for the first one. It's a bit trickier because you've got bits in the way, but just like before, just start going around, small movements, one at a time, and keep taking that wire around, concentric sort of circles around the spiral. Okay, hopefully this is going to come all the way around to make a loop at the top, or I might have to stop it there. Oh, I haven't quite made it long enough to do that extra loop there, but what we'll do, oh, sorry, off screen a bit. Yeah, sorry, Claire, I went off. So can you see really what I want to do is bring a loop up here. So actually I'm going to have to come back a bit and my loop wants to be about there. So I'm just going to hold onto that spiral and undo that last bit. Okay. And then give that a trim. I want about 1 centimetre there to do a loop. Like that. And then grab my pliers. I'm a bit further down my pliers now because I want a big enough loop to pop an ear wire in and give it a bit of movement and dangle. Roll that back a bit more. To sit like that. Oh, off screen again, sorry. Okay, and now what you can see actually is that coil I've put on there is a bit too long. So I just nip it off. So you can do that from either side. So I'm just going to nip another couple of millimeters off of there. So obviously this time I can't slide it off. So what I'm going to have to do is pull it loose. So unravel it then. So grab a hold of it. And it should just pull off like that. There we go. Then I slide that back and that's, yeah, that's the right length now from the front. You can't see. All right, so there you go. There is your little double spiral earring incorporating a gizmo coil or a nice coil there. But they're really quite sturdy. Really nice. The other thing, of course, is let's have a look at this. If you had the stud earrings, like a little stud earring, I've got one right here, little ball stud. You could use that through the center and have that as your earring and then this to drop. So that would actually look quite nice. Quite a big earring to sit on your lobe, but that's quite nice. And then this could have a drop from it, couldn't it? Yeah. There you go. There's your little demo today. Hopefully it's useful. I'm giving you some ideas and different ways you could use that, but just thinking about your spirals, connecting them. You don't have to start at the end to create a spiral. You can start from anywhere on the wire to make a spiral. Okay. I remember you doing that in yes. Oh, spiral. That's fab. Thank you. You're welcome, Tony. Gorgeous as Abby. You're welcome, Abby. Giving me a few ideas, thinking steampunk. Thanks again, Jem. You're welcome, Mary. Yeah, sorry I went off screen a bit. I sort of drifted up that way, didn't I? I forgot how close the camera was. But yeah, that's it. So there's, use that little hole to make a stud. Or yeah, fidget with this. Quite nice to have that opportunity to sort of fidget with it as well, isn't it? Right, I'm looking forward to seeing your variations. Yeah, give it a go, Marjorie. All right, let me put this camera back and then I can see you. Or speak to you at least. Unravel all these cords. Take you over here. Ah, there you go, back. You're welcome, lovely. Oh, welcome, Francis. And Leslie, you're welcome. Oh, is it your first time here, Vintage Halloween Crafts by Clint? Nice to meet you too. Come back every Monday, 10 o'clock. Also, you can catch me live on Instagram, Charmers Gems, at 6 o'clock, while I'll be doing other demos. I'll show you what I'm doing tonight, just in case you're interested. It's usually wiry stuff. This I'd be doing how to create even loops and hoops and all the various uses there are for loops and hoops. So from setting cabochons to making bangles to making earrings. There's another one here. So yeah, lots of ways to use loops and hoops. So however you use them, it's just about how to get them even and neat. That's this evening, 6 o'clock, live on Instagram. Charmers Gems Instagram, not mine. Yeah, but you can follow me there. So yeah, hit subscribe and you'll get notified when I go live. You like what you're doing tonight? Yeah, it's going to be nice. I'm going to demonstrate the bangle in full, so including the clasp, and then just talk through some of the other techniques to do them. And there will be more workshops for cab setting in different ways, and particularly creating decorative backs for those clear gems. So that's going to be the focus of one of the workshops for August. So keep your eyes there. And that's it, really. That's all I've got to tell you for now. I've shared enough, haven't I, anyway? My fingers have recovered from your workshops. So I'm going to have a go at some more wire work this week. Yeah, that was there's a lot, wasn't it? I haven't finished mine. I mean, I did make 2 in a week, but I still this far through mine. Haven't finished it. But I'm thinking I might undo it, Claire. See, what do you think? And split this off so that it becomes a necklace. I'm thinking I might use the basics, but then take it in a different direction, which is what I always love you all to do when you do a workshop with me. Use the techniques and then evolve them into your own special creations. Okay, right. Well, I'll see some of you tonight then. And some of you I'll see on Thursday for the Daisy workshop, 9:30 till 12:30. So Thursday morning, lovely creative morning, setting cabochons or can be beads if you want, or rivolis, or just cut gemstones into this cute little daisy motif that I've used as connectors. Make great daisy chain bracelets, daisy chain necklaces, earrings, etc. Even a ring. Okay. Was totally with you. That's a great idea. Well, there you go. Something to try, Claire, for the next one when your fingers have really recovered. Right. See you all then. Have a great rest of the week. I hope you all batten down the hatches and survive the storm. and yeah, and doesn't cause too much disruption for you. I'll be thinking of you all. Okay, see you later, everyone. Bye.